Bir hafta aradan sonra yeniden karşınızdayız. Maalesef heybemizde yine yasaklar, soruşturmalar, hak ihlallerinden başka bir haber yok. İşte ardımızda bıraktığımız haftada ifade özgürlüğünün hal ve gidişi.
Article 19 published the 2022 Global Freedom of Expression Report. According to the report, Turkey, which lost 3 points compared to last year and a total of 24 points in the last 10 years, is considered to be among the countries where freedom of expression is in crisis and ranks on the same level as Egypt, Iran, Myanmar, and Burundi. Turkey is currently behind countries such as Russia, Iraq, Bangladesh, Rwanda, Pakistan, Zimbabwe, Sudan, and Afghanistan.
The police intervened in the press statement that was organized in front of the Human Rights Monument in Ankara within the scope of the Justice Watch protest initiated by the members of the Confederation of Public Workers Union. The Confederation headquarters was taken under a police blockade. The trade unionists, who were not allowed to leave the building, were prevented from going in front of the Human Rights Monument with police shields and tear gas.
The Confederation of Public Workers Union member women who wanted to organize a protest in Ankara against a decision of the Council of State that approved the annulment of the Istanbul Convention were prevented by the police. The police did not allow a statement to be made, battered women and journalists.
The police intervened against the Uyghur Turks who could not contact their relatives living in China since 2016 and who came in front of the Eyüp Sultan Mosque where President Erdogan holds his Friday prayers to make their voices heard. The police said that they would not allow 81-year-old Mahmut Tohti Amin, who was holding the Eastern Turkestan flag, to open the flag. Amin's finger was broken and his eyebrow was wounded after he wanted to raise the flag and fell on the ground during the brawl.
11 of the villagers who protested against the redirection of water source of Fatsa Sefaköy to a private trout farm were detained during the gendarmerie intervention. During the intervention, remarks of the gendarmerie drew attention who said, "There is no press freedom at the moment. Do not take a video, we will show you how the law works."
A team took to the field at the Kemal Korkut soccer tournament organized by the People's Democratic Party Youth Assembly in Istanbul and opened a banner about the Roboski and Zaho massacres, so the police battered and detained 11 people. 7 People's Democratic Party Youth Assembly members who held the banner that said detainments cannot intimidate the youth to protest the detainments in Istanbul were also detained in Antalya.
LGBTQI+ themed events were banned in Mersin for 15 days. The Mersin Governorate banned all protests and activities such as demonstration marches, meetings, press statements, film screenings, festivals, leaflet distributions, conferences, seminars, and sports competitions to be held throughout the province within the scope of Pride Week for 15 days.
The Kozlo Music Festival, which was organized for the second time in the Kozlo district of Zonguldak between July 28th and 31st, was cancelled by the district governorate on the grounds of prohibition of alcohol sales between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. and the music ban after 12 a.m.
Journalist Kerim Kırpaç was attacked and battered by the Justice and Development Party AKP Birecik Mayor Mahmut Mirkelam for covering the press statement of People's Democratic Party HDP Birecik District Organization regarding the incomplete work of Birecik Halfeti Cultural Road in Urfa.
Journalists Vedat Örüç and Elif Kurtaş, who went to Adana Recycling Industrialist site to follow up news on waste import, were detained by the bosses and employees of recycling companies. They were threatened and battered.
The prosecution of former People's Democratic Party co-chair Selahattin Demirtaş, who was charged with targeting the former Ankara Chief Public Prosecutor Yüksel Kocaman, due to his defense statement during a trial of a case filed against him continued at the Ankara 25th Assize Court. Demirtas has been sentenced to 2 years and 6 months in prison for targeting a public official involved in the fight against terrorism within the scope of the case, but the appeal court found the sentence to be low and overturned the verdict. In the retrial, the prosecutor's office claimed a prison sentence for up to 8 years for Demirtas. The hearing was adjourned to September 16.
The latest hearing of the lawsuit filed against 23 members of the Religious Scholars Assistance and Solidarity Association was held at the Istanbul 14th Assize Court on charges of terrorist organization membership and aiding a terrorist organization on the grounds of taking part in activities of the association and that they gave sermons in Kurdish. The request for release of Ekrem Baran, the arrested president of the association, was rejected. The hearing was adjourned to October 21st. Meanwhile, in the closure case against the association at the Bakırköy First Civil Court of First Instance, the court decided to stop the association's activities as a precaution. The police went to the association building and sealed the door of the association.
Peace petition signatory, city planner, and academic Fatma Gül Eryıldız was fired from her job at Istanbul Metropolitan Municipality on the grounds of a security investigation launched against her. Those who were dismissed from public service and those dismissed from the Istanbul Metropolitan Municipality, both with statutory decrees, were first targeted by Süleyman Soylu and then by pro-government media organizations. It is known that the Metropolitan Municipality has so far dismissed or forced nearly 500 employees to resign for the same reason. Peace academics and workers who were dismissed from the municipality started a sit-in protest in front of the municipality building.
The book Going to Kobane with the Language of Those Who Remain in Suruç, written by journalist Arzu Demir and published by Ceylan Publishing, which tells the lives of 33 people who died in the Suruç massacre, was confiscated on the grounds of making terroristic propaganda. Another book of the same publishing house, called Women's Revolution, was pulled off shelves.
The Constitutional Court ruled on February 21, World Mother Language Day, that the disciplinary sanctions imposed on teachers who taught the importance of mother tongue in class were not a violation of freedom of expression. In 2016, upon the call of the Education and Science Workers Union, Eğitimsen, 22 educators explained the importance of the mother tongue in their classes and were thereby punished with reprimands and deductions from their salaries from faulty fulfillment of the assigned duty or negligence. The Supreme Court argued that the educators treated a subject which was not included in the curriculum in class contrary to the policies and the principles determined by the state in this area, and that a proportional intervention was made with lighter sentences instead of heaviest penalization for such actions.
The Constitutional Court ruled that it was a violation of press freedom and freedom of expression that journalist Hacı Boğatekin was sentenced to compensation for his article titled Imam's Dream Failed, published in Gerger Fırat Daily in 2012. The file was sent to the Gerger Civil Court of First Instance for a retrial in order to eliminate the consequences of the violation. The Constitutional Court also ruled that the journalist's right to a fair trial within a reasonable time was violated, with the trial lasting 6 years within the scope of the file, deciding 30,000 Turkish liras to be paid to Boğatekin in non-pecuniary damages.
The Constitutional Court ruled that the rejection of the application of an atheist student who wanted to be exempted from the religious culture and moral knowledge course was unconstitutional and decided to pay the student and their parents 20,000 Turkish liras in non-pecuniary damages.
A deportation decision was issued for Muhammed Isa Abdullah, the business owner of the Somali restaurant Saab, which recently made the news with police raids in Ankara and had to change its signboard many times due to racist and discriminatory treatment and administrative harassment. People's Democratic Party Kocaeli Parliament member Ömer Faruk Gergerlioğlu wrote on social media, his crime was to operate the Saab restaurant in accordance with the law in Kızılay. The police told him to shut this place. He was subject to all kinds of racist and discriminatory treatment. He has a risk of death if he returns to his country. Democracy and Progress Party Istanbul Parliament member Mustafa Yeneroğlu said, Mohammed from Somali faces the threat of deportation because he does not remain silent about the tyranny faced by the blacks. That mentality continues. We don't care about the law, and if we get too stuck, we will adapt to the book and crush whatever or whoever is in front of us. They have determined that he has no so-called work permit. Mohammed is one of the owners of the Saab Cafe. His crime is to be visible in the climate of xenophobia, which is resurrected due to the lack of policy of the government. All businesses of black people in Kızılay were treated the same, and all but Saab gave up and left the country.
Ankara Provincial Police Department sent a letter to the Middle East Technical University Rectorate requesting that an administrative investigation be launched against political science and public administration student Tunahan Gözlügöl following the prosecutor verdict on non-prosecution, with a demand that the University Rectorate launch an administrative investigation against the student. The Rectorate, on the other hand, mixed the incidents and asked the student's defense statement for another student activity.
Cypriot journalist Aysu Basri Akter, who came to Antalya for a vacation with her family, was sent back after being held at Antalya airport for 19 hours with her children. Although Akter and her family were stated to have a visa requirement for their entry into Turkey, former Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus President Mustafa Akıncı's press and communication consultant Ali Bizden and research writer Ahmet An were previously not allowed in Turkey on the grounds that they were harmful to national security. Claims that Turkey has a blacklist of Cypriot opposition politicians, journalists and activists await clarification.
The Istanbul Anatolian Third Criminal Court of Peace imposed an access block on the news article titled Journalists Ergün and Sezer's Trial Adjourned, published on our website on December 23, 2021, regarding the lawsuits and investigations against the journalists due to their news on the bribery allegations against a former lawyer of the president, Mustafa Doğan İnal, as well as on the news titled Investigation into Biyanet's News about the lawsuit against journalists, published on May 25, 2022, with the same decree. 130 different news articles and social media content, including 2 of our news articles, were censored as well.
The Diyarbakır Fourth Criminal Court of Peace imposed an access block on the website of Etkin News Agency on the grounds of protection of national security and public safety. Thus, the agency's website was censored for the second time in a week, for the 44th time in total.
With 2 separate decrees issued by the Sivas Second Criminal Judicature of Peace, the news article published on Diken News Portal on Sivas Governor Yılmaz Şimşek, who faced complaints at the Interior Ministry on the grounds that he had unlawful relations with Izmir-based Sintan Incorporated, as well as the news on the access block imposed against the news article, were censored.
The tweets of journalist Metin Cihan, who shared the allegations and correspondence regarding Justice and Development Party Deputy Chairman Nurettin Canikli's eviction of companies transferred to the Savings Deposit Insurance Fund, blocked from access by Istanbul Anatolian First and Second Criminal Judicatures of Peace.
The news about the suspicious death of Yılmaz Ekinci, who was held in Aydın Type E prison, was blocked with a decree issued by the Aydın First Criminal Court of Peace on the grounds of violation of personal rights.
An investigation has been launched against Republican People's Party Assembly Member of Parliament Eren Erdem for insulting President Recep Tayyip Erdogan for posting on Twitter with the caption "Hunger equals Recep Tayyip Erdogan." In his post in January, Erdem has written, "While the Justice and Development Party chairman and the Palace Society lived a luxurious and pompous palace life with the taxes of the nation, the taxpayer nation was condemned to poverty and misery. The Palace Society does not care. Only a populist ruling would think of its citizens. That's why hunger equals Recep Tayyip Erdogan."
The concert of Gülşen was recently targeted for stage outfits that was organized in Chile was banned by the district governor. In the statement made by the district governor, it was shown that the business that wanted to organize the concert did not have a live music permit.
The advertising board of the Ministry of Commerce decided to stop the H&M clothing company's advertising video titled "The Family I Chose," stating that the word LGBTQI in the advertisement requires the warning 18+. The board claimed that this situation negatively affects the mental, moral, psychological, and social development characteristics of children and young people and is intended to disrupt or change cultural and moral social behaviors. Opposition annotations were not included in the decision on the official website of the ministry, and it was portrayed that the decision was taken unanimously. However, the decision was taken with 10 votes against 8, including the Turkish Medical Association.
Warrants were issued against 31 people in Mersin, including the People's Democratic Party provincial chair Bedriye Kuş, People's Democratic Party Assembly members of the Akdeniz municipality Nevzat Baran, Ali Tanrıverdi, Nuriye Aslan, and Mehmet Bitkin on charge of terrorist organization membership and making propaganda for terrorist organization.
The Court of Cassation overturned the life sentence for the police officers who tortured and killed Murat Konuş, who was detained in Istanbul in 2009 on the grounds of incomplete investigation. In the case that was concluded in 2019, the Istanbul Second Assize Court acquitted 3 of the police officers on trial, and 4 police officers were sentenced to aggravated life imprisonment for causing death as a result of torture, but reduced the sentence and sentenced them to life imprisonment, also not issuing an arrest warrant for the defendants and imposing the condition of judicial measures. Also not issuing an arrest warrant for the defendants and imposing the condition of judicial measures. In order to better understand the local court decree in terms of determining which defendants were involved in the injuries that led to cerebral hemorrhage, the 8th Criminal Chamber of the Supreme Court of Appeals requested that the police station images be examined in detail and the report to be prepared by an expert. The family's lawyer Nuri Köse, emphasizing that the murder of Konuş as a result of torture is proven with camera recordings, witness statements, and forensic medicine reports, said the fact that the perpetrators of the murder have been walking freely on the street for about 13 years without facing any judicial or administrative sanctions and the uncertainty of when the trial will end has increased the pain of our clients many times over.
Bir hafta böyle geçti. Dileriz haftaya daha güzel haberlerle buluşuruz. Yeniden görüşünceye değin hoşça kalın.